Hello, everybody. At this time, we are talking about resource in business. A resource in business refers to the assets, capabilities, processes, information, and skills that an organization utilizes to achieve its objectives effectively and efficiently. These can be tangible, such as machinery and capital, or intangible, such as intellectual property and corporate reputation. And then we move to the different types of resources. First type of resources: human resources. Human resources are the people who work in an organization. They provide the labor that is necessary to produce the goods and services that an organization provides. Human resources can be classified into three categories: physical resources, financial resources, and human resources. And then second, financial resources. There are many different types of resources that a business can use, but one of the most important is financial resources. This is because without adequate funding, a business will not be able to sustain itself or grow. There are a few different ways that businesses can raise financial resources. One is through investment, which can come in the form of equity or debt. Equity is when ownership in the company is given up in exchange for money, while debt is when money is borrowed and then repaid with interest. Another way businesses can raise funds is through revenue, which is the money coming in from sales of products or services. And then third, material resources. In business, the term resource refers to anything that can be used to achieve a goal. This includes human resources like employers and managers, financial resources like cash and investments, and physical resources like raw materials, office space, or manufacturing equipment. The most important resource in any business is its people. Human resources include not only the workers who produce goods and services, but also the managers who plan and oversee operations. The ability to attract and retain talent, employees, is a key competitive advantage for any company. And then we move to role and function of human resources. The first role and function of human resources about as labor. The workforce is population who are of working age, namely between the ages of 15 to 64 years. Not only that, workers are those who have the skills and abilities that can produce a service or product. And then the second, human resources as consumers. Consumption activities are consumer activities that use goods as a result of production, be it services or products. In economic terms, consumption is the activity of using or using to meet needs. So, consumers are people who use and spend goods or services produced by companies for the needs of themselves or others and are not trade. And then the third, as exports. The function and role of other human resources is as experts in a particular field. By using technology, humans are considered as a form of competitive advantage in developing the economy. And then fourth, human resource as producers. Production is an activity that makes goods or services more perfect and can add benefits or value to human needs. So, producers are people who produce services or goods by adding value to these goods. And fifth, as the leader of the company. Leadership is a process when humans influence the values, attitudes, or actions of other people and have high dedication and enthusiasm. So, if you want to be a good company leader, you need good interpersonal skills. And then, how to use resources effectively. In order to use resources effectively, businesses need to understand what resources are available and how best to utilize them. There are many different types of resources, including human, financial, physical, and intangible assets. By understanding the different types of resources and their potential uses, businesses can better determine which ones will help them achieve their objectives. Human resources are perhaps the most important type of resource for any business. They include the skills and knowledge of employees, as well as their time and energy. To use human resources effectively, businesses need to identify the tasks that need to be completed and match them with the appropriate employees. They also need to provide employees with the tools they need to do their jobs efficiently. Financial resources are another important type of resource for businesses. They include money that can be used to purchase assets or pay for expenses. To use financial resources effectively, businesses need to carefully track their income and expenditure. They also need to develop a budget and stick to it as closely as possible. And then we move to implementing resource management. To effectively manage this in businesses, we should be the first invest in technology, implement management information systems, and resource planning tools to track resource utilization. And then the second, foster resource conscious culture. Encourage employees to think critically about resource use and sustainability. And third, train and develop staff. Continuously develop the skill set of the workforce to adapt to new technologies and processes. And then fourth, evaluate resource investments. Regularly assess the returns on investment that different resources generate and adjust strategies accordingly. I think it is enough. Thanks